مرحبا، أنا اسمي مارلين زهران.
خلينا تشرفنا.
أنا هون في الميلواكي مسلم وومنز كواليشن رح نناقش عن الموضوع كورونا فيروس هون مع عبد الحافظ حامد هون.
نعم.
أو أبو ماجد الناس
نعم.
بيحكوا لك. كيف صحتك اليوم؟ كيف حاسس حالك؟
الحمد لله.
الحمد لله. أبو ماجد، تقدر تحكي لنا قصتك عن
My
كورونا؟
experience with corona. أوكي. اللي صار معي تقريبا قبل سنتين أول ما بلش الفيروس كورونا، كنت طالع برا البلد على لكسنغتون كنتاكي أو على لكسنغتون كنتاكي for 2 days. Me and my family, we came back and that's exactly what happened. I stopped to fill gas of 20th and College, and I felt like electric shock. My body shook one time, started shaking. So I told my wife, I think I got sick. I got sick. She said, why? You've been fine. I thought I got sick. So I filled gas, went home, and was temperature and just cold and heat, back and forth, cold and heat. Sometimes I get cold, sometimes hot, cold, hot. The second day, it was Monday, I waited. Tuesday, I waited, doesn't get any better. Wednesday, I decided to go check for COVID. Friday, I received the notice or the email that is positive corona, COVID-19 positive. So I waited another couple of days, knowingly, hopefully it gets better anyway. It doesn't get any better until Monday. Monday, I decide that's it, I'm going to the hospital. So I called the ambulance and I choose to take me to Wheaton, which is Essential Hospital on South 27th Street. We got there like at 12:30 at noon. And I believe this is specifically what happened exactly. At 6 o'clock at night, a nurse came to me and she said, sir, I don't think we have a room for you tonight. I told her, excuse me, can you repeat that one more time? And she said, we don't have a room for you. We're going to send you home. I thought, does that supposed to take 6 hours from your time to tell me you don't have a room for a sick person who cannot go back home? Anyway, get me your supervisor. I want to know who's the decision maker who decide to send me home in this situation. She ended up going within 2 minutes, 5 minutes. She came back. She said, we find a room for you. All right, good news. So they took me to the room, start medication, start doctors, start seeing me left and right. So many nurses, so many doctors, so many blood work, so many. I cannot call how many tests they did and the x-rays. During my stay there, from the first night, actually, like at 12 midnight, doctor come over to me and she said, sir, I'm running out of time. I have no choice but put you in the ventilator. And of course, I did say, what's the ventilator? And she told me it's a breathing tube machine. How are you going to install it? She's going to put it in my throat. My mind refused to accept to go that far. So I told her, what's my alternative? And she said, you sleep on the bed on your chest, breathe from your nose, blow it from your mouth. This is the last chance. I did it for about 3 hours and she came back to me because she monitored me on the computer from outside the room. She came back, knocked on my shoulder. She said, congratulations, you made it. I made it, but the second day still I'm going through process. They take x-rays for my lung. They monitor the heart. 3 doctors, they got involved. Dr. Radim Sater for the heart, cardiologist, board certified cardiologist. Raed Hamid, he's lung doctor at St. Luke's. Rihawi, lung doctor at St. Luke's. They were monitoring me every day. They call and check on me. Well, I got lucky to a point where they ordered the plasma. And they got me the plasma probably from the first 3 days or 4 days, if I'm not mistaken. They gave me the plasma and I start feeling better, a little bit here, a little bit there, but I did spend 18 days in the hospital.
Wow.
And it's not a good experience. It's the worst experience because it takes you to death in a spare second.
وما بتقدر تشوف حدا.
No, 18 days, the only ones see me is the nurses, doctors, and I'm not allowed to leave the room. Even when they come covered from head to toe. with the filter to filter the oxygen when they breathe. So they covered with gowns, gloves, face mask, plastic face mask. They were covered 100%. All the time when I was there, they were 100% covered. Doctors, nurses, they all covered.
واو صعب هذا عليك.
It was, yes, but also it made me thankful for this life.
كيف أثر COVID-19 على أهلك وشايفينك إن أنت في المستشفى؟
Well, it wasn't easy because I have to talk to them on WhatsApp picture, you know, we see each other on video. And even my family, they were sick too with COVID. My daughters, my wife, my son, I think he caught COVID, maybe not, because he never checked, but he felt cold symptoms. My wife, my daughters, they got cold symptoms as well too, but it's COVID. But they never have high temperature. Or specifically, the virus never got to the lung. The most dangerous thing with COVID, if COVID delivered to the lung, then if it controlled the lung, the patient is out of luck. Very few, in my opinion, who can make it a comeback. Especially when the COVID get to the lung. So the most dangerous part of it is not you got COVID, if the COVID go back to the lung, go down to the lung.
يعني يا لما توصل الرئة الانفكشن بتصير في الدم.
No. Yes. And it's hard to fight. It's not easy to fight.
هلا لما طلعت كيف حسيت حالك؟
Well, first day, it feels okay that you left the hospital and you're home. Of course, I took the oxygen tank with me. And I was worried about going 4 or 5 steps in my house up. I wasn't worried about going down because it's easy to go down, but it's hard to go up. But I made it the first day, and I have to breathe a little bit harder, but I managed it. And the doctor recommended I walk straight, nothing elevation, straight. So the second day I didn't leave. The third day I didn't leave. I walk inside the house, but when I felt better, I started going out, walking a block, 70 feet, 60 feet, 50 feet. Then I start to increase it slowly. The first week, every day I go out, walking a block or a block and a half max straight. I try to go straight because if I go in any elevation, then I get tired. Even I have the oxygen tank with me. It helps a lot, but it's better to walk straight.
وإمتى صار هذا الإشي؟ هاي السنة ولا السنة الماضية؟
صارت أول ما طلع الكوفيد. I believe it's, if I'm not mistaken, 2020.
أوكي. وهلا اليوم عندك أعراض؟
لا الحمد لله.
يعني حتى لما تطلع على
even when I go steps, of course steps is not easy for older person. I don't know if I consider myself old or not. 62.
لا لساتك شباب.
But I go to the gym every day and I function good. I don't feel any difficulties. But with that being said, I cannot tell you it doesn't affect my lung. It probably affected. Even I was told that the lungs go back normal, 100% like there was. But I'm not convinced because there's any damage happened to anybody, it doesn't heal like it was 100%. But I'm thankful because it's not nothing that I suffer from, or nothing permanent, or nothing that push me back not to do anything I want.
هلا شو عندك أي إشي بدك تحكي للمجموعة العربية؟
أنا بحكي لكل إنسان بفهم عنده عقل يميز الصح من الخطأ إنه يحاول قدر الإمكان إنه يلبس ماسك to prevent at least maybe 80%, maybe 90% from having COVID because it's not a good experience at all, especially if it goes down to the lungs. So.
وبعد ما طلعت من المستشفى وطلع اللقاح
I've been vaccinated? Yes, I got the 3 shots. I'm fully vaccinated, yes.
تقدر تحكي كلمة للمجموع؟
والمفروض يعني هذا أمور طبية وصحية والعالم كله بيحكي عن الفاكسين. المفروض كل إنسان هو مش أحسن من كل الهيلث كير اللي طعمه وأخذ الفاكسين. إذا إهم أخذوا الفاكسين معناتها إحنا normal people they should to go ahead and get vaccinated. مش شايف أنا مشكلة لأي إنسان not to be vaccinated because if it doesn't help it's not going to hurt. المفروض كل إنسان يروح يطعم لأن this is nationwide and مش رايح يضر الإنسان من مرة، رايح يفيده ما يضره.
صح كلامك. شكرا أبو ماجد لوقتك اليوم وإنك حكيت لنا قصتك مع كورونا فيروس. شكرا لك إنك إجيت اليوم معي وحكيت لنا القصة
My pleasure.
إن شاء الله المجموع العربي هون في مواكي يسمع قصة أبو ماجد ويفكر في الكورونا فيروس كل يوم، كل ما يطلع من الدار يعني البسوا ماسك وفكروا في المجموعة الكاملة مش بس الواحد الشخص نفسه.
المفروض أن الإنسان يحافظ على نظافة إيديه، إنه يغسل إيديه more often and use the mask.
Yes. صح كلامك. All right.